No matter how great a series may be, you always gotta make sure it doesn't end on a wet fart. Or heck, at least have an ending at all, and not a cliffhanger for Christ's sake. Well, when Scott decided to end his series for whatever at the time, I've lost track at this point. He went for a bit of a different approach, introducing FNAF but for masochists, also known as Ultimate Custom Night. With so many characters and mechanics being thrown at you, it's no wonder that quite a few of them were pretty different from the previous games. If we look at the Ultimate Custom Night roster, and then exclude all the characters that weren't in any of the traditional FNAF games previously, this is how many characters kept the same, or at least similar behavior. What if there was a game that not only represented those characters a bit more accurately, but also put you in the pizzeria from the first game, cause why not? And this is where we get to Original Custom Night by Susslord. Okay, so how about a bit of an unplanned story time segment? So while I was at home editing this video, my school finally announced that it's under quarantine. So then I was like, hey, this joke isn't really relevant anymore, I should probably change it. But then a few hours after the announcement, we got notified at 10:20 fucking PM, mind you, that the quarantine was cancelled. So much for health being quote unquote more important than education. Fucking kick. Okay, now back to the video. So, seeing how the story here is basically non-existent and the graphics are taken from the previous FNAF games, we might as well talk about the gameplay now. And the best way of doing so, I think, is by covering this game's roster of 32 characters. First we have the FNAF 1 cast. They're the same as in the first game, but just a little bit more forgiving. The three toy animatronics appear in your office, and they go away if you put on the mask. And while Toy Chica and Toy Bonnie get to you from the vents, Toy Freddy just kinda... Balloon Boy tries to get into your office from the left door. Just close it when you hear his laughter. Failing to do so will result in him getting in and disabling your cameras, not your flashlight. But I guess because there's only one enemy that even requires you to use a flashlight, disabling the flashlight might not have made him much of a threat. Oh, and he leaves your office eventually. Bonnet behaves the same way she did in Sister Location, although she only kills you if you fail to click her nose 3 times, instead of killing you instantly, so that's a nice change. Dee Dee is just like an Ultimate Custom Night, although I don't think she summons any secret characters. And yes, you can change her AI, thank lord. Crash and the Gang, Nightmarion, and the Puppet are all just like an Ultimate Custom Night. Although with the former, it seems like only number 1 crate is active. So, I guess it's not even really a gang, just trash.
That's my character! I'm the trash man! And then I pick up the trash can and I...
Next up is Springtrap, and I really like the way he's integrated here. He actually walks around the pizzeria now, starting from the bathroom to the dining area, through the east hall and to your door. You can use the sound to lure him away, or close the door if he gets too close. Now, I know what you're asking. Why use the sound if you can just close the door on him? I hope that answered your question. While Phantom Balloon Boy is the same as in FNAF 3, Phantom Freddy behaves completely differently from how he did in both FNAF 3 and Ultimate Custom Night. And I know that's kind of against the point of the game, but I actually like the way he works, so whatever. If you switch the cameras too often, he will cause a video error and then jump scare you once you lower the tablet. I think that it's a pretty cool mechanic, since it works really well with Phantom Balloon Boy, who essentially causes you to switch cameras way more than you would normally need to. Nightmare Freddy. 1 flashlight a day keeps the Freddles away, you know the deal. The next 6 animatronics have to be detected by sound. The first 2 come from the left, the other 2 come from the right, and the latter 2 can come from either side. That may seem kinda boring at first, but they all have little details that make them stand out. Like how if you use door lights on the Nightmare animatronics, they jump scare you instantly. It's just like in FNAF 4, and I think that's a really cool addition to their behavior. If Baby makes it into your office, she doesn't jump scare you at first. She instead sits in front of you, and you can get her out by using the controlled shock. With Ballora, even if you close the door early on her, she won't go away until she gets close enough. This means you might wanna wait until her song is loud enough, and then close the door so that you can save power. And then Earth can be spotted on the cameras. Next up is Find Time Foxy. Just like an Ultimate Custom Night, you gotta look at the Pirate Cove at a certain time. He was the guy to kill me the most, because I just keep forgetting about him. My memory is just full of holes, I guess. So, the bottom row isn't really much different from Ultimate Custom Night, but there are a few differences that I think are worth pointing out. So first, Helpy. He's the best character in the game. Why? Because I can do this. Okay, listen up. You may be able to beat this game on max difficulty, and I couldn't care less. Do you have the skill to do this? There, I beat the game, but I still gotta finish up this video, so let's keep going. Rockstar Freddy is, well, he's literally the same, actually. Rockstar Bonnie and Chica have the same idea as an Ultimate Custom Night, but a different execution. When Bonnie gets into your office, you gotta find his note instead of a guitar. And unlike with the set guitar, the note can be in any of the cameras, instead of just 4. With Rockstar Chica, you gotta move the sign to the direction that she's coming from. But unlike an Ultimate Custom Night, where you had to see her on the cameras, here she gives herself away with this stereotypical Mexican music. And you better be quick.
Yoink!
Yoink? Well, you know what a wise old man said. If you can't beat 'em, join 'em. Boo. Rockstar Foxy is the same but with less options since there isn't noise or temperature. Wait. Old Man Consequences is also the same, you gotta catch the fish and if you don't he blocks the cameras. And then Golden Freddy? Golden Freddy?
Fellas, you think we could listen to the radio or something?
And no, I'm not gonna buy your tacos. I'm not gonna buy tacos from a knockoff FNAF character. I only accept licensed fucking merchandise. So that's the whole roster. At least for now. And with that out of the way, there are still a few things left to cover. So this game has keyboard controls. While for the most part they're not necessary, the FNAF 3 control panel and the mask can only be brought up with the keyboard, so you better memorize those. And there's actually another key that this game doesn't tell you about, that being F12, which sends you back to the main menu. Okay, so remember I mentioned the control shock earlier? Well, it doesn't seem like it works on any of the characters aside from Baby. So yeah, just make sure you don't accidentally click on that thing.
Say I ain't got
Power.
God damn.
Did that jump scare seem a bit quiet?
Well, no, just say that you're there. See, the game has this interesting sound system, where certain characters can literally blow your ears out. Helpy's jump scare makes you partially deaf, and Phantom Balloon Boy's jump scare makes you almost completely deaf. Oh, and number 1 crate doesn't make you deaf. Well, that's, ironic, to say the least.
You can fix your hearing by resetting the audio in the FNAF 3 control panel. Okay, so what can you do outside of the main game? Well, unlike an Ultimate Custom Night where points would only give you different office skins, here you can spend your points in the shop on power-ups and even characters. Power-ups include skipping the first 2 hours, extra 4% power, and a death coin, which isn't available just yet. And putting some characters behind the shop adds a nice sense of progression in my opinion. And how about 22 challenges? That's quite a lot, especially when Ultimate Custom Night only has like 16. So, to sum up, I think this is a pretty awesome Custom Night fan game. It is just as well made and polished as the original game, but it goes beyond just being a more nostalgic version of Ultimate Custom Night, and has enough unique things about it that make it a pretty refreshing experience. I give this game 12,800 out of... No.